Hello, everyone. Welcome to a little bit of woo woo. My goodness, it's been a crazy weekend, a crazy week for a lot of people. All kinds of stuff happening in the news. I'm sorry, some of it's very bad for those of you in areas that are affected by the hurricanes. That's just really sad. So I'm sorry, and I hope everybody's okay. I wanted to start today by talking about an issue that comes up for people who are intuitive, and a lot of you guys are. If you're watching this channel, you wouldn't be interested in this if you weren't intuitive. And right now, a lot of intuitives, we're going to call them sensitives, we're going to call them psychics. Those people are getting a lot of I wouldn't say an energy boost to their intuition. Meaning if you're intuitive to, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were a 6 last week, you're probably an 8 this week. So you're going to be getting a lot of intuitive information. What happens to those of us who are psychic or intuitive, doesn't matter which one of those you use, is that we get information and sometimes not only are we wrong sometimes, but we misinterpret it, or we can make it into, make a mountain out of a molehill. And I wanted to address the issue of how do you know if it's paranoia or if there's actually legitimately something to be looked at. And this is how you know, and I'm just going to I'll start off with a story. Years ago, Christmas Day, I was driving home from my parents' house. It was raining, which is very unusual in Southern California. I was raining and I was on an unfamiliar road. I was on the freeway. And this car just zooms past me doing a stupid amount of speed. And I hear this little quiet voice in my head say, that person is going to hit the car in front of them and then they're going to hit the guardrail. And very quiet, no emotion, no fear, no panic. I look over to figure out which exit I'm on. And I had 911 on the phone before a person in the car had even stopped moving. The reason this is important is because I wasn't feeling a lot of emotion. A real intuitive hit doesn't come with a lot of emotion. We add it later. So 10 minutes later, I pull over and I realize I probably just saw somebody die on Christmas Day. And I actually threw up. So, but in the moment, it was quiet. It was peaceful. There wasn't a lot of fear and a lot of feeling. That's what's true for most really, truly intuitive hits. That's why when you're a little afraid of something, when you're getting some fear-based intuition, asking a friend is helpful if they're intuitive, because they can give you some insights from a non-emotional perspective. That's when I'm reading, I can feel somebody sad about something, but I can look at a situation, be a little more objective because I'm not immersed in it. For example, people who are wanting to know if Bob or Bill, or if Bill's cheating because they saw some weird text on their phone, and I always know that that's a bad sign, no matter what the answer to that question is he cheating? Texts are not good. Texts from women, especially if there's tickle bitties involved, is not good. But that's how you know. And another story, and I've told this one before and I'm going to tell it again. I had a friend who was actually on a plane that ended up crashing. Now, he was on the plane. He had a ticket. This was in, I think, the 80s. Sitting on the plane, his stomach was hurting. And he was just he was getting sicker and sicker, and really, really sick. So eventually he just said, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm going to get off the plane. I'll just take the next one. It's not that big of a deal. It's, it wasn't that much money at the time to change a flight. Got off, crashed on his friend's couch. Not a big deal. And woke up to the phone ringing. It was his sister actually calling to let his friend know that John's plane had crashed. And she's like, no, he's fine. He's on the couch. He's asleep. The reason I really wanted to tell you that story is because he wasn't getting a lot of emotion around it either. His stomach was hurting. He was just that's how he always got intuitive information. So another part of this is I want you to think about, how do you get intuitive hits? How does it come to you? Is it a stomach ache? Is it flashes of insights? Is it a voice? I hear a lot of voices. I'm not schizophrenic, by the way. I get a lot of voices. I get a lot of different ways of getting information, but know what your main way is and pay attention to that. And just know that usually real information is not going to be fear-based. It isn't going to cause anxiety unless that's one of your modes. It's usually just information, because to the guides, to your spirit guides, all this stuff's neutral. To spirit guides, they wanted him off that plane, so they made it so it was so uncomfortable he had to get off that plane. I will say another thing about John, and he was a good friend of mine, and he was actually my boss. He used to make this joke that he was going to die doing something inappropriate with a married woman. That was his joke. And you know what? That's what happened. That's how he died. So he had a stroke doing something inappropriate with a very married woman. I want you to understand that that's kind of how this plays out. So In the news this week, you're going to be hearing a lot about the yin carry trade. I am not a macroeconomics person. I know what that is. I could answer that question if you asked me, but I'm not going to because I think you're better off Googling it from a true expert. But you're going to hear a lot about this stuff, and it may make you very fearful. There is something to it. There's a lot of things going on right now economically that are going to cause a snowball effect, but that snowball does take some time to roll down the hill. There has been some manipulation for those of you this morning who have TD Ameritrade accounts, or if you guys have Schwab accounts, or there was like two other ones that were down. These trading accounts were down before the market I guess when the market first opened, and people couldn't make trades at a time before a very critical report was about to come out, which I think was very interesting. They say it was because everybody tried to log in all at once. Yeah, that's probably not entirely the full story. Yes, I will say that is legitimate. However, I don't think that's what happened. I think government didn't want us all to log in and sell all of our stocks all at once. But that's my theory. Just saying. I will also say that it's easy to get caught up in narratives. This is why you should be paying attention to what you're listening to. And I love this quote by someone who is absolutely not watching my channel. He doesn't believe in this kind of stuff, but I remember him saying that an economist's job is to make astrology as an occupation look respectable. And I would say that is probably something to that. So when you're using your own intuition to make a decision about things, just understand that the most accurate information is not going to come with a massive amount of fear. If you're feeling fearful about something, pay attention to that. If you live in an area where there's earthquakes, get your earthquake box full of stuff now. Just do the things that you need to do, but just know that sometimes we feel fear and anxiety and all those emotions for lots of reasons that don't have anything to do with intuition. And for God's sakes, don't watch a lot of TV. Well, actually, the Olympics are good. But don't watch too much TV because that could be contributing to the problem. I hope this was helpful. I hope you tolerated my nasal congestion. I'm obviously very congested right now because there's a lot of fires burning where I live, and you can't help but breathe some of it, no matter how many of those fewer fires. There's one over my shoulder that you have in your house. So I hope you guys have a great week. And if you have any comments, any questions you want answered at a future version of this, go ahead and leave them in the comments. That really actually helps the channel. If you like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything, and I'm not sending you any spam. So thank you for that. Bye, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.